In this video, I will show you some cool things you can do with the where I am queries. In particular, you can use certain widgets directly inside a query to edit it in place. Usually, when you allow a standard query to be edited in line, you do not specify a widget for that, as the where I am uses the default widgets automatically. For example, text control, number control, combo box, etc. However, for certain attributes, it is possible to use some of the other widgets. Let me show you. In the issue resolution sample application that we can see here, we have a query that shows all issues. One of the columns of this query represents an attribute of the yes and no type, and such attributes can be edited using different widgets. Here it is edited using the switch widget. You can change the value right here using this widget. Let's see how this has been achieved. Let's go to this query, select a column, and here we have widgets for display and editing property. Note that you can also get to this property if you go to displayed columns, then find the column, then edit it, and then click on column display and editing. It's much easier to select the column though. Note that if the widget is to be used to edit in line, the inline editing for the query must be enabled, and the corresponding column must be editable. We can see it here. If not, the widget will be shown as read-only. Let's try that. You can see all the widgets here have now become read-only. Let's turn it back on. Let's see which other widgets are available. We can use checkboxes. They are not shown properly in preview, but if we save the changes and put under test and refresh, we can see the checkboxes here. Or if we go back and look at some other options, we can see a toggle button that toggles between yes and no. Let's try that. So here we have the yes and no button. You can just click on that and change the values. For text attributes with choices, a where I am also offers special widgets. Let's have a look at the issue closed query that displays the customer informed attribute of the issue object. And this attribute has choices, yes, no, or not applicable. If we look at this query, we can see that the choices are displayed as a group of buttons. So if we look at this query here, we can see the button and we can click on any button directly here. If we look at the implementation of this, we can see that the widget that this column is displayed with is button group. Let's see what other choices are available. The toggle button. The toggle button toggles between choices. Let me show how it works. So when we go back to the browser, refresh, and show the closed issues, we now see a toggle button. When I click on the No button, the next value is not applicable, next one is yes, and so on. Note that you can specify the text of the button that corresponds to a choice. You can also skip a choice if you make its text blank. For example, like that. The color of the button is taken from the presentation rules of the corresponding attributes, if those are defined. Let's define a couple of rules to show yes and no in green or red. While I'm here, I will also change the alignment of the buttons so that they look nicer. So now we go to the presentation rules of the attribute shown by this column. We go to the presentation rules, add a rule, and so if the customer informed is yes, then we display it with let's display it with a green background and white foreground. And if the value is no, let's display it with red background. Let's see how it works. So when we go back to the issue resolution application and look at our query, we can see these buttons in red or green, which I can just toggle in line. Attributes of a number type can also show the rating widget. The issue resolution application does not have an example of a standard query with the rating widget, so let me quickly create one. So in the issue resolution application, we have the staff object, which has the rating attribute, and we will create a query that will show this attribute as one of its columns and display it with the rating widget. So create a query, and our displayed columns should include first name, last name, and rating. And then for the rating column, we'll make sure that it is displayed as the rating widget. We should also remember to make it editable in line. And then finally, we will add this to the menu of the dashboard. So now, when we go to the browser, we can see the stuff query with the rating widget, which we can edit in line. What about custom queries? Only 4 special widgets can be used in custom queries. For display purposes only, not for editing. One such widget is rating, and it is used in a custom query here. Let's have a look at how this has been implemented. So if we go to the all stuff query, we can see here rating. The first part is the name of the attribute, and the comma with the word rating tells where I am to show the rating widget here. The properties of the rating widget are taken from the presentation of the rating attribute. A similar approach is used for other special widgets that can be used in custom queries: barcodes, QR codes, and chips. To add a barcode to a custom query, you need to add a comma and the word barcode after a reference to an attribute. Parameters of the barcode can be specified if you add a wrapper div element into the attribute reference, as shown in this example here. Here we specify the type of the barcode, its width and height. Similarly, with QR codes, you can add this div. Chips are small widgets that are used in value list filters. Here is an example in the Sales Portal application. So we go to the Sales Portal sample application, we click on the Products menu, and we can see chips here, which are used as tags for products, and we can see barcodes. If we look at the implementation of this query, this is the query products. And we look at the HTML code for this query, we can see barcode and chips here.